Hi guys, welcome to Multiverse. Today we're going to play with our Multiverse character. Let's wait a minute or two for people to possibly log in. 90 seconds now. Okay, we're good to go. There's a few changes on YouTube, so basically there's a beta version of YouTube. Hello Jamie, hello Custas. So today we're going to play with our Multiverse character, and we got a brand new cape, the Ultraman cape. Obviously I will make a video about that, and I'll probably make an Ultraman video also. We'll see. But basically, I was able to purchase the darn cape for $99 million. I had to sell a lot of stuff in order to be able to have it. I sold pretty much all the red exhibits I had. The only way to increase your dominance is either with your gear, and if you're DPS, if you're using DPS gear, you probably don't have much dominance with DPS. So basically, you can see your dominance mainly come from your gear. But if you want to, let's go to our crafting machine here. If you really want to increase the dominance of your gear, what you could possibly do is craft some dominance mods. Well, let's see. Not sure if I have the plans. Come on. There's a bit of lag in the menu, so that's a bit annoying when that happens. So what you could do is craft some dominance mod. Like here you have the Justice Dominance that gives 89 dominance for each mod. So I'm not sure how many blue mods. I have controller gear. So anyway, so whatever gear that you have that would require some blue mods, you could put some dominance mods in there. That would increase your dominance. You can also put some dominance mods in here. Basically, if you look in your generator, there's some blue mods that you can have in your generator. So these could be dominance mods if you really need to increase the dominance of your character. Yeah, if you have the regular gear, you probably don't have much dominance in the DPS gear. You probably have some. It's been a long time since I actually just played DPS. And so basically the mods in your gear, the mods in your generator, that's how you could increase your dominance. And there's where is it? One last thing you could do is put dominance in your stat points. I forget which one it is. There we go. So here you could also put points in here. Like you can see, if I was to put 1 point, it would give me 80 dominance. Hello, Dragon Ball. So these are the ways you could increase your dominance as a DPS. But as a rule of thumb, as a DPS, you don't really need dominance. So I wouldn't really do that unless you play as a controller or as a tank. You don't really need dominance unless you want to be able to do some crowd control in 8-player missions. And even then, as a rule of thumb, you want to let the tank do the crowd control. The tank, if other player do the crowd control, even the controller, like if the controller or someone else does crowd control instead of the tank, it may make the job of the tank that much more difficult. So as a rule of thumb, I usually let the tank do most of the crowd control, because the tank also has to control where it's going to bring the ads. Like for example, let's say the tank for whatever reason needs to keep the ads in the middle of the room. It will use his crowd control to be able sometimes to pull them towards the center of the room. But if the mobs are already crowd control like in the corner of the room, then the tank will have a hard time trying to pull them to the appropriate place where he needs to pull them. It's a poor example. I'll try to come up with a better example later down the line. But roughly speaking, if you play as a DPS, you don't really need dominance. But again, if you really want to increase your dominance, then it's with mods. Put blue mods in your gear. Put dominance mods in your generator. Oh well, you can do damage without dominance. The dominance has nothing to do with damage. And if you place a gadget, you can play either with DPS or troll. And troll usually your controller gear has more than enough dominance. Like if you look right now, I don't have the top gear just yet, and right now my dominance is at 5986. And the most dominance I really would need would be, let's go and see. So I have more than enough dominance for the regular versions of the raids, the 8-player missions. 5853. How much did I say I had? 5817. So I'm just oh, wrong one. 5986. So I have more just with my gear. I have more than enough dominance to do any content in the game. For the flashback mission, you need the Lightning Strikes episode. If you look at, let's see. I was almost there. If you look here, you can see the list of all the episodes. There's probably somewhere else where you can look, but that's the best place I thought to look. So you can see the first episode was the Fight for the Light, and the next one was the Lightning Strikes episode. In order to be able to play the 2-player mission, you need to have the Lightning Strikes episode. If we look in the on-duty menu at the flashback mission, it doesn't say so. I thought it might mention in the mission, but anyway, basically in order to be able to gain access to the flashback mission, you need the Lightning Strike episode. Maybe if we look at the... Probably won't help. Well, let's see. The mods don't affect the combat rating, Eric. In the past it used to, but at some point they made it so that the mods no longer affect the combat rating. Let's see if we can look at... Come on, come on. Nah, that doesn't help. Oh, there they are. So basically you can see that the episode says granted because I'm a legendary player. If you're a legendary player, by default you have access to all the episodes. But in order to gain access to the flashback mission, you will need the Lightning Strike episode. Somehow I can't preview. It doesn't say much. So here it says it includes the 2-player flashback duo. There's not enough information with those things. Anyway, so basically for the flashback duo, come on, the menu is... Oh, there we go. So basically for the flashback duo, sadly you need the Lightning Strikes episode. Or you need to be a legendary player. That either option works. But if you're not legendary, I assume there's a reason for that. So you're gonna have to purchase the flashback episode, the Lightning Strike episode. So let's see. So today we're going to try to play at least a few missions. And let's go over here. Let's start here. So as you can see, I have my brand new Ultraman cape, which required me to sell a lot of stuff on the broker.
I know a bunch of our troops from both back in my heyday and even more from right now. They're all
the technology at our disposal may seem like science fiction, but you can bet.
I thought I would have to play the broker like all weekend in order to be able to purchase the cape, but then I finally decided to sell a whole bunch of exhibits that I had in reserve, and I was able to get enough cash to be able to purchase the cape. Yes, I did see the Avengers trailer. I toyed with the idea of possibly making a video about it, but I decided not to at the last minute. It was pretty cool. Uh, I'm not sure why some people went crazy and said it was the best trailer in the world. I guess that's where you can see a bit of fanboyism. It was a good trailer. It showed some really neat looking stuff. But I wouldn't say it was the best trailer in the world. But it was promising. It did make me a bit excited about the upcoming film. And so far, as a rule of thumb, Marvel usually did a good job with their films. So unless they somehow drop the ball with Avenger, Infinity War, we should have a good film to watch next summer, next spring. I'm not sure. They made a new version of Area 51. There's basically two versions of Area 51 now. Now there is the version that you do when you play the four-player mission, and technically the Area 51 and the Tier 1 Area 51 are the same thing, but the difficulty is a bit higher in Area 51 Tier 1. But here they pretty much reused the same map, but they made a few tweaks to make it sort of quote unquote a different map. It's a bit weird sometimes to revisit maps we've played a lot in the past. Yeah, the Spider-Man suit is pretty cool. Although the only complaint I would have is that it kind of turns Spider-Man into Iron Man Jr., which is a complaint we could already have made with Spider-Man Homecoming. And this new suit makes the comparison even more obvious. But then even in the comic, at some point they did turn Peter Parker into like Tony Stark Jr. So I'm not really surprised. But also it's an odd mixture of the Iron Spider-Man suit and the traditional Spider-Man suit. So it's not like they're doing something that was never done in the comics. But I guess it shows a bit why it wasn't a good idea when they did it in the comics to begin with. But it did look pretty cool in the Avenger film. The only thing is that afterwards, let's say you see Spider-Man in his Iron Spider suit, why would he ever go back into his regular suit after that? So it kind of breaks the character a little bit. Well, reusing maps, I can understand. It is one way to keep the cost down a bit. Instead of constantly creating new maps, reusing certain maps helps create more content a bit faster and a bit cheaper. Yeah, sort of. It's a combination, pretty much of that. I haven't played Injustice 2, so I'm not sure exactly. I've seen some of the armors. Some look nice. Some look weird. So I've mixed feelings about some of the suits from from Injustice 2. Some of the suits are what we would call over designed. So I'm not sure about that, but yeah, some of those do look kind of cool. Yeah, I guess yeah, I see what you mean, but the thing is, once you start using the Iron Spider suit or whatever you want to call it, why would you go back to using the other suit? It's like let's say you start giving Captain America an Iron Man armor. Then why would he ever go back to being plain old Captain America just with his plain old shield after that? Once you start, I understand that it would make sense for Iron Man to say, hey, I'll make Iron Man suits for everyone. in the Avenger team. So he makes an Iron Man suit for Black Widow, he makes an Iron Man suit for Hawkeye. But that pretty much turns all the characters into Iron Man. And then later down the line, when they try to bring them back to their original self, you have to wonder why even bother. So if every character is in the Avengers team gets their own Iron Man armor, what makes Iron Man special afterwards? Well, funny enough, they did explore the Iron Avengers in a What If issue, but it was just a one issue thing, and it was also it was pretty much all the Avengers got killed or something like that, and then Tony Stark created not just armors but basically robots to replace them. And basically it was robots that kind of looked like Iron Man, but also kind of looked like the rest of the Avengers. It was a fun one storyline, but you wouldn't want them to do that in their regular comics. Probably, but then again, Tony Stark built it once. Let's assume the armor gets destroyed, and why would Tony Stark not be able to build a new one? So sometimes it's there are things like that seems like a cool idea at first. Oh, we will see a new shield for Captain America. There's even a line that pretty much says so. I think it's a line that Black Panther says off screen, like give this man a shield or something like that. So Captain America will get a new shield, and odds are he'll get a new costume as well. But we're gonna have to wait and see for that. I'm not sure if I destroyed everything. I guess we're good.
I hear you made quick work out of those savage soldiers.
With this success rate, maybe Special Agent Anderson will finally write something good in my file.
Excellent work. And I don't give out praise easily. Just ask Warrant Officer Jones. At this rate, you'll become a serious contender for a permanent position with my...
Oh yeah, the next Avenger or Avenger Next, whatever they were actually calling it, that was actually really cool. It could have been silly or bad because it basically was the baby Avengers or something, but it actually was a pretty cool story. And it's sad also to think that the best version of Ultron we got was the one from the animated movie, as opposed to the one we got in Avengers 2.
We need your help protecting this here castle or keep or whatever the heck they call
I
it.
forget what the actual line was, but I'm pretty sure it was something like "Give this man a shield" or something. But ultimately, it doesn't really matter. We know that Captain America will have a shield again. He has to. The Teen Titans show seems promising. I guess we're gonna have to wait and see. Was it and get this man a shield? Anyway, whatever it was a cool line. For the Teen Titans, I guess we're gonna have to wait and see. It's for TV, so you never know. And it's for their new Warner Brothers streaming services they're trying to put together.
You have ruined my disguise. I will kill you for that.
Hopefully it will be as good as The Flash was in its first season. But I guess we're gonna have to wait for that.
How did you find me out?
Sadly, the ratings for the CW TV shows seems to be going down a bit. They seem to be somewhat lower than they were last year. So it's a bit worrisome, I suppose. Freaking targeting. Oh, he could get his shield back. We could have a scene where Tony, I don't know, says, Cap, I'm sorry, and he gives him back the shield or something. Anything's possible.
I never had any serious doubts about your success. You're strong.
Black Panther is like a mountain of vibranium in Wakanda, so he could easily make Captain America a new shield. But yeah, Tony could decide to give Cap his old shield back. Anything's possible. I guess for that, we're gonna have to wait and see what actually happens. Yeah, everyone is trying to have their own streaming services. So I'm not sure if it's going to be viable in the long run because there's only so many services that people can subscribe to. Yeah, we're going to end up with something not unlike cable, it would seem. They're gonna have to make some sort of package deal where if you're subscribed to certain services, you have like Netflix, Hulu, and let's say Amazon Prime all together. Again, we're gonna have to wait and see for how they actually deal with that. Yeah, we hadn't really seen Spider-Man's spider sense before. We had hints that it existed, but they didn't portray it overtly. So it was pretty much, I think, the first time where they overtly portrayed Spider-Man's spider sense, which was kind of neat. Well, Netflix is making a buttload of money. So, and everyone wants to have that Netflix cash. So they're all trying to find their own ways to be able to get that Netflix cash. So sadly, there's a famous saying in Hollywood, nobody wants to be first, but everybody wants to be the first to be second. So once that everyone saw how profitable Netflix could be, then now everyone is trying to be Netflix. Because Netflix are making money hand over fist. They're making so much cash that they're spending a lot of cash on their new content, their Netflix original content. So now everyone wants to have that Netflix cash, and also like in some cases, they're like. You can see some of the CW TV shows on Netflix if I'm not mistaken. Like I have some friends who watched The Flash on Netflix and Supergirl and probably something else I forget to mention. So the studios figure why do we give our shows to Netflix and have Netflix make all the cash? We might as well make the cash ourselves, and that's what they're trying to do. And get this man a shield? Okay. Yeah, it pretty much sounded like that.
I need supplies over here.
But it's going to be fun to see a new Avenger film, no matter what. Obviously, hopefully, we want it to be a good film. But you never know. Sometimes there are things that you would think that would be a sure thing, and it ends up not being so good. So again, we're gonna have to wait and see what they actually do. And the next Marvel films anyway is Black Panther. So we're gonna have to see what happens in Black Panther. Also, is Black Panther linked to Infinity War somehow? It has to be because it comes just before. And I assume Infinity War will be affected by some of the things that will happen in Black Panther. Also, there are people who are wondering, because in one of the shots in the trailer for Avengers, it's obvious that Captain America and Black Widow and Bucky were in Wakanda. So people are wondering what's going to happen in the Black Panther film. Like, is Cap and Bucky are going to be hidden in the basement or something, and you won't see them throughout the whole film, because we haven't seen any hints of them being in the Black Panther film and the Black Panther trailers. It could be great. Yeah, the thing is, you never know. That's the sad part. Like, remember when we had Iron Man and everyone was raving about Iron Man, how it was so good and all that, and then we had Iron Man 2. Personally, I liked Iron Man 2. I can see how it was a bit of a mess in a few places, but I really had fun watching Iron Man 2, especially the suitcase suit. That bit cracked me up. Whenever the scene with the suitcase suit happened, holy crap! I was really happy about that scene. But a lot of people were not happy with Iron Man 2 and even Iron Man 3. A lot of people weren't happy with that. So you never really know. You hope that the film will be good, but the truth is you never know. DCUO can't really get a major rebirth unless they decide to make a DCUO 2. And if they were to make DCUO 2, I would be really unhappy. Unless we can import our characters from DC to DCUO 2, I don't want them to make a DCUO 2 game. I've invested so much time and even so much money. Like, I just invested 100 million to buy a brand new Ultraman cape. So imagine if they make a DCUO 2 and I don't have my cape anymore. I guarantee you, I would not be happy if that happened. So sadly, yeah, they could probably give a bit of an upgrade to the graphics, but a bit is the operative word. I don't think they could revamp the whole engine. And for a new engine, that would mean a new game, and for a new game, that would mean like 5 years of development. So let's assume they decide to make a DCUO 2. That would mean you would get your DCUO 2 maybe in 5 years.
This gang war has taken its
And there's
toll.
never any guarantee that the next game will be better than the previous one.
I hate that you heroes play dress up. Makes it hard to tell who's a good guy.
Yeah, in the long run, you will not have the DC shows on Netflix, and the same with Marvel. In the long run, depending on how the deals were made, I assume either you will only have the Netflix Marvel shows on Netflix, and all the other Marvel shows will be on the Disney streaming, or maybe even in the long run, Marvel would pull all their shows from Netflix and put all those shows on their streaming services. It depends on how the deals were negotiated when they actually did the deal. Well, there is a new Justice League animated series. It's called Justice League Action or something. Right now, if you want a Justice League series, this is it. Well, Iron Man 3 was disappointing. The whole bit with the Mandarin was pretty insulting, which is ironic because they went with that because they didn't want to appear racist or something. They kept on saying how the Mandarin in the comic was a racist character, and they went with the version they went with in Iron Man 3, and they pretty much ended up insulting pretty much everyone.
So much pent-up aggression.
Well, I'm glad you liked. If you like Justice League, that's good for you. I won't try to convince you that you shouldn't like Justice League. You're allowed to like it. Hello, Dale Hub. Even if it was 5 characters, it has to be either you transfer all characters, Dan Dragon, either you transfer all the characters or you don't. But the thing is, because there's some crazy people like me who have like a lot of characters, so even assuming you can only transfer 5 characters, that would mean giving up a lot of characters that I spent time and resources and money on. And I guarantee you, even if it was transferring 5 characters, I wouldn't be happy about that. So personally, I don't really want a DCUO 2 unless If you can transfer your characters and everything you purchase for your characters, okay, make a DCUO 2. I won't mind that. But other than that, no, I don't really want a DCUO 2. I don't want to lose everything. I don't want to disappoint you, but I wouldn't expect. Don't expect too big a changes when they drop the PS3. I know it's popular to think that the PS3 is holding this Universe Online down, but I guarantee you, you won't see that big of a difference when they drop the PS3. A lot of the things that don't work quite well in this Universe Online have nothing to do with PS3. Well, they're going to update it a bit. We saw with the new Superman model. So once in a while, they will try to add probably a new model for the characters. So we'll have to wait and see for that. The UI, I remember seeing on the forums just like yesterday or the day before, someone was mentioning how basically the people who were working the UI, they're not working for DC Universe Online anymore. So they have a completely new team working on a completely new UI. So we're gonna have to wait and see what. But I don't think they're going to change the UI all in one go. My guess is, once in a while they will make a change to the UI bit by bit. Not unlike what they did with the wrong place. Come on. Not unlike what they did with the artifact tab. Like basically they've added a new tab for the artifacts. So I suspect that what we're going to get are new subtle changes like that as time goes by. I don't think they're going to make a brand new UI completely. What I'll probably do is that they'll make tweaks and changes here and there, and that should be enough. I didn't like, yeah, I remember the video you're mentioning about the UI. I didn't like their new UI. It was much too generic and much too bland, if it makes any sense. It had no personality. It was just something like something that technicians would come up with, as opposed to something that had some artistic value. I understand that they were trying to make it practical as opposed to making it pretty. But it has to be at least somewhat pretty. It cannot just be practical. Not much new. I got a brand new cape. Keep an eye out. I'll make a video or two about that for sure. Yeah, the UI revamp got scrapped. But we did get a bit of revamp with the UI bit by bit. Once in a while, they would tweak a few things here and there. You can see it especially with the broker. They tweaked the broker, the UI for the broker bit by bit. So instead of redoing the entire AI in one shot, they seem to be doing it just one bit at a time. And slowly but surely, we will get a new UI, but just one bit at a time. I know it may seem like it's only a patchwork, but it's better than nothing. Oh yeah, and let's go talk to our friend Two-Face. It's been a while since I did those missions, so I'll probably be a bit lost. Hello, Alexander Gauthier. Multimaniac. Maybe that could be a good way to go. Oh, I'm very poor right now. I had to sell a lot of exhibits. Like basically, I'll show you. I first started by selling pretty much everything I had gathered from time capsules, and then I started selling. I don't have. I could have sworn I still had one more. Basically, I started selling stacks and stacks of aggressive exobytes. Like I would sell a stack of 99 exobytes for. I started at 3 million, and at 3 million it sold really quick. So then I started selling them at 3.2 million. Again, it would sell fairly quick. So then I started selling them at 3.5 million. Then at 3.5 million, it would take a bit of time. So I would put one stack for sale at 3.5 million. I would go do something else, or even sometimes I would log off, go, I don't know, take a nap, whatever. Then I would come back into the game, take a look. Oh, I sold my stack, so I would put a new stack for sale. So basically, I sold everything I had, everything of value that I couldn't find on my characters. I sold that. And I even went through all my characters. Like all my characters, I had characters that had collections from like 2 years ago or something. So, or there were a few things that I was saving from previous time capsules, and I ended up selling that. So basically, I ended up selling everything I could sell. I did, and then that still wasn't enough. So I started selling exhibits, and that's how I was able to get whatever cash I was still missing. And I was a bit sad because at some point there was one cape that was 90 million. So I went, oh crap, okay. At some point I was only missing like 14 million. And sadly, the cape no longer was for sale. I guess somebody else bought it. So and then the next one was like 105 million or something. But finally, I was able to purchase it for 99 million on the broker. So basically, I sold everything I could, and right now I still have at least some cash left. So I sold a few more stacks of exhibits. Basically, I sold almost all the red exhibits I had, and I had quite a lot. I had accumulated a lot of red exhibits for the past year and a half. It's not just a cape, it's a nice looking cape. Look at how nice it is. The worst part is that I need another one. I need one for my Ultraman character. But it was hard enough to farm for this one. I'll take a lot more time to farm it for my Ultraman character. We'll see. But sadly, there's some styles that there's no magical solution. If you want to have the style, you have to either be lucky and get it. Because basically, I could have tried to play the Panopticon Elite mission and hope to get the cape. But from what I understand, it's a rare drop, and trying to play the Elite version of the Panopticon mission is a whole lot of fail. So the obvious or easiest solution was to purchase it. Yes, 100 million for one cape. It is a lot of money, but I did that previously in the past. I farmed a lot in order to be able to buy the cosmic material for a few characters. I also farmed a lot to be able to get the void material for some characters, to get the phoenix material for some characters. So I did do a lot of farming. Sadly. Oh no, my Ultraman has only the emblem right now. It's equipping my Ultraman character will be another story, but we're going to take that one step at a time. Sorry about that. Okay, so for getting the style from my Ultraman character, that will be another story. And I toyed with the idea of giving the cape straight away to my Ultraman character, but this is the character that I use. Like, whenever you see me making videos about the various styles, 99% of the time, this is the character that I use. So odds are when I'll make an updated version of the Ultraman video, which you can pretty much expect soon, this is the character that I'm going to be using to do so. So it made more sense at this point to give the cape to this character, but in the long run, yes, I will try to get the cape for my Ultraman character as well. I didn't really keep track of what mission I was doing. Too much talking and not enough paying attention. But it allows me to do a bit of the 3-3 mission. So let's see, what else? Oh, wrong place. What else should I be doing? I guess I should do the Crime Syndicate bounty after. Let's start with this one. But in the long run, I will try to get the cape from my Ultraman character, and the same with my Owlman character. Like, I understand it will take a long time before my Owlman character is combat rating 207. But I often mention this. I know some people don't believe that, but this Universe Online is a marathon. So there are things that you set yourself goals in the short term, but you can set yourself goals also in the long term. So getting the cape for my Ultraman character, that's a long-term goal. Getting the Owlman suit for my Owlman character, again, that's a long-term goal. And it also gives me something to look forward to.
I don't know nothing. I don't know nothing about nothing.
One badge? You mean one mark of victory, or? Eons ago, you could get either like a 1 mark of victory, sometimes you get 5 mark of victory, and once in a long while you would get, I think it was 25 marks of victory. But at some point they changed the whole currency system. And when they did that, they made it standard that the vault would only drop 1 mark of victory. Because way back when, like let's say the tier 1 set of gear would cost, let's say, 30 marks of victory, and then the tier 2 set of gear would cost 300 marks of victory, and then the tier 3 set of gear would cost like 5,000 marks of victory. So the amount of mark of victory you needed for each set of gear would increase astronomically, depending on the tier that the character was. Well, it wasn't mark of victory; it was mark of triumph, I think, at the time. So anyway, basically, the amount of gear the amount of marks you needed would increase as time would go by, but also the amount of marks that the mission would give would increase also with time. But at some point they made it standard that all the gear would cost the same amount of mark, and they also made it standard that the vault would give you 1 mark of victory each time. So yeah, at some point, oh, Mr. Freeze. So yeah, at some point you could get some bonus marks, like you could get a 5 marks or 25 marks, although it was a rare bonus, like it would happen only once in a long while. But compared to how expensive the gear was at the time, even if you got the 25 marks, that was next to nothing.
You ain't gonna solve this.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, when they revamped the entire currency system, so that basically they made it so that we had a unique mark system. It was only the mark of victory. And when they did that, they revamped the price for all the gear. And that's also when they introduced I forget the name. That's also when they introduced the relevancy marks. Like basically, if you look at the marks at the missions, in order to be able to gain marks from those missions, you need to be within the relevant combat rating. So, for example, let's look at unholy matrimony. In order to be able to get marks from unholy matrimony, I would need to be combat rating 113 or 160. Sadly, I'm combat rating 219. So even if I play this mission, I won't really get marks of victory. I will get mark of victory from bosses. Basically, added that. They've added in the 8-player missions, and I'm not sure maybe in the 4-player missions as well. Basically, in the loot picker, when you defeat a boss, you can decide to take a mark of victory. But then if you take the mark of victory, it means you won't take one of the loot prizes you could get from that boss. But so nowadays, I still can get marks of victory from the zoo mission. But sadly, if I was to play, let's say, the Justice for All mission, no marks of victory for me. That is sad, but that's how it happens. But I would still get war bonds, so it wouldn't be a total loss. It depends how much they're selling for on the broker. I cannot give you a price because the prices change all the time. Like remember the cape I'm wearing right now. Originally, when I looked at the broker, the price was about somewhere between 115 and 150 million on the broker. But then at some point, the prices started going down and going down and going down. And then there was one cape that was that I could have bought for 90 million on the broker. Sadly, I didn't have 90 million just yet. By the time I was able to increase my cash, the cape at 90 million was gone. So then the cheapest one was like 105 million. So again, I had to keep on farming for cash. But then at some point I saw there was one cape at 99 million, and then I bought that one. But the prices change all the time. They change within a day. Sometimes they change within a few hours. So I can't really tell you how much to sell the components for. All I can really tell you is look on the broker, look how much they're being sold right now, and then adjust your price according to how much they're being sold at the moment. Yeah, you have to fight within your CR or you don't get marks. Although that's not as true because basically you don't get marks of victory, but you still get the war bonds or I forget what the marks are for the. You still get the marks for the episodes, but you don't get marks of victory anymore. So, for example, if you were to play missions that gives Ultra Buck, you would get Ultra Buck no matter what. If you play missions that give marked builds, you will get marked builds no matter what. The same with the ancient coins. The only exception to that is the mark of victory. Although you have to worry a bit because, as you can see, we're starting to have a lot of marks. And sadly, it seems that with each new episode, we will get a new mark. So before long, it will be a little overwhelming. I guess we're going to have to wait and see. It depends what people are asking for. Also, it depends on the server you're playing for. I could tell you, oh, sell them for 5 million. But maybe you're playing on the European server. And maybe on the European server, the prices are not quite the same as the US server. So again, I can't really tell you how much. I can't give you a price. All I can tell you is look at the broker and look how much people are asking for those items. And then decide which price. If you're in a hurry, and you want to sell it right away, I'd say sell it half the price. Like if you go to the broker and someone is selling it for 300,000, then sell yours for 150, and you're going to sell it very 150,000, and you're going to sell yours very quick. Oh, I could have sworn, did I forget to talk to her? But if you're not so much in a hurry to sell, like if you can take your sweet time, then if you see it for sale for 300,000, I sell yours at 299,000. So it always depends on how much people are selling it for, and also how much in a hurry you are to get your cash. If you need cash as soon as possible, then ask for about half the price. If you're willing to take your time, then just undercut the price a little bit. and try to get as much as you can for your item. Or you're gonna have to specify which current game console you're talking about.
I need backup here. You're just in time. That was too close. Thanks.
If you think they could upgrade the game to look like Batman Arkham Knights, it won't happen. It doesn't work like that. If you think they could upgrade the game to look like Elder Scroll Online, maybe. But last I checked, Elder Scroll Online looked pretty darn not good. Well, I can almost understand why they tried to get only one currency, but I don't think they went a good way about that. But it's hard to tell what their goal was with that. From the outside, it would seem that they were trying to limit the amount of content we could run and get rewarded for. Being cynical, I would say they were trying to force us to use replay badges on the latest content. I can help people, but I can only help them raise their CR by helping them play mission. So yeah, if you want to play missions, group missions, we could do that. But the only real way to increase your CR is to increase the gear you're wearing. And in order to do that, you need either to get better gear from playing missions, or you need to purchase gear from the vendors. Oh.
Our guys are safe again thanks to your heroics. Know that we'll always have your backup.
But if you, not sure what your combat rating is, Dragon Ball, but if you really want to increase your CR, let's say fast, what you could do is that if you look at some of my videos, basically I have videos where I've recorded in real time characters progressing through the game. For example, if you're looking at my Doctor Strange character, I have a video of Doctor Strange where I went from from I think it was level 29 or 30 all the way up to combat rating 62 in about two and a half hours. So if you were to look, let's say, at that video, if you were to try to reproduce what I did in that video, you possibly could increase your CR to 62 in more or less the same amount of time. Sadly, there is a bit of random luck involved. Sometimes it depends on what gear will drop. Like if there's some random drops that can help you raise your CR, well, if you get those drops quickly, your CR will go up quickly. But if you're not so lucky, then you're gonna have to replay certain missions in order to be able to try to increase your CR. I won't play the 3 mission today. Maybe tomorrow. No, the first thing to increase is your CR. The skill points. The difference between combat rating is much higher than the difference between skill points. Let's say even if you having like 300 skill point, that only gives you a fraction of the stats that your combat rating would give you. Like if you increase your combat rating, your skill points will represent maybe 10% of your stats. And that's assuming you manage to get a lot of skill points. Like if you look right now, let's take a quick look. Like if you look right now, I have 15,824 might. Oh, wrong place. And if you look at the skill points give me 690 might plus 10% might. So it's barely a fraction of what I have. So my gear, you can see that my gear gives me a whole lot of might than any skill points I could have. So if you build your combat training first, then you can go back and build your skill points. And your skill points, again, are only a very small fraction of your stats. So you're going to get a lot more stats faster by increasing your combat rating than by increasing your skill points. Also, there is one thing that you can only increase with your gear, at least so far as I can tell. Like there's one stats that you only have with gear, it's defense. In the past, you could put skill points in defense. Not sure why they removed that. But again, if you want to increase your defense, you have little choice but to increase the combat rating of your items, of your gear, and that is what will give you better defense. You can't really. The speed at which you can increase your combat rating is so much faster than the speed at which you can increase your skill points that it's not. You can't even compare the both. You can't even compare the two. There's no way you can increase your skill point as fast as you can increase your combat rating. So sure, if you can increase your skill points, but also at the end of the day, just play the game. Play the game, and your skill points will take care of itself. As you play the game, because basically what raises your skill points? What raises your skill points are your feats. Well, as you play the game, you will gain new feats anyway. As you play the game, you will gather collections. As you play the games, you will use token of merits. As you play the game, you will earn renown. As you play the game, you will gather base items. As you play the game, you will complete missions. So just playing the game, you will gain feat just by doing that. Sure, if you need to farm for a specific feat, sure. But you don't, especially early on, you don't have to. So at first, focus on increasing your combat rating. And then you can go back and get whatever skill points you still don't have just yet. But again, just playing the game, you will increase your skill points. That's a nice Superman. A little too dark, but... for Owlman's helmet, yes. It is the... there it is. There's the Crime Syndicate investigation. That will give you the Omnipotence Owlman helmet. As you can see, I have 3 right now. But sadly, you cannot get it just by gathering collections. Or the last collection you need, let's go there. We didn't go to Earth 3 today, so let's go there. The last collection you're going to need for the Omnipotence Owlman helmet. Oh, a little too far. Will be here. Even in raid, if you don't have the combat rating, you won't even have access to the raid. So again, the last collection you need for the Omnipotence Owlman helmet is with this little guy here. Someday we'll get there. So you can see this is the last collection you need. Sadly, it cost 375 Ultra Buck to purchase, so it will take a while. 209, then you're good. You're good to go. And then you could start gathering. You could start collecting your Ultra Bucks. And once you get the 375, you could purchase this one from our friend here. And the rest, you'll have to either be lucky and get them from playing missions, or you'll have to buy them from the broker. I'm not sure how much the most expensive one on the broker is, but it's pretty expensive. Like it's like 100 million, if not more. Get PvP armor affects your PvP CR. Also, there is another Allman head, which is I forget which one. There is also this Allman head, which you can purchase from this little fella, and it's a 75 Ultra Buck. So if this is the helmet you want, then you can just purchase it from this little fella, and it's going to cost you a lot less. If you want the other Allman helmet, then you're going to have no choice. You're going to have to farm and farm and farm, either to get the collections or to get the marks to purchase the final collection from this little guy. As for the PvP combat rating, basically it only your there we go. Like you can see, the PvP combat rating of this little guy is 99. But the actual combat rating is 219. The 219 is my PvE combat rating. So the PvP gear affects only the PvP combat rating. The PvE gear affects only the PvE combat rating. So if you want to get into missions, let's say you need to go into a mission that requires 99 combat rating. Well, sadly, the PvP combat rating doesn't help you. You have to have the PvE combat rating. The PvP combat rating only helps you to purchase the next set of PvP gear. We're going to go see the PvP vendor. It will make more sense if I show you the PvP vendor. Now let's go over there. I won't be able to compare with my PvP gear because I'm a bit of a slacker. I didn't equip any PvP armory in this time. Like basically, you can have 4 armories equipped. I have 16 armories, so I have a few armories that are dedicated to PvP gear. And sadly, I have none of those equipped right now, but it won't really matter. The only thing that your PvP gear, your PvP combat rating helps you with is in order to be able to purchase the next PvP gear. When you start playing the PvP, oh, I'm going a little too far. When you start playing PvP, you can only see the 96 item level PvP and the 97 PvP gear. In order to be able to see and purchase the 98 PvP gear, you have to purchase the completely 97 PvP gear. You have to purchase the entire gear, you have to purchase the trinket, you have to purchase the neck piece, you have to purchase the weapon, and you have to purchase 2 rings. And you have to purchase the utility... oh, no, not the utility belt. That bit is gone. So you have to purchase the entire set of gear in order to even be able to see the next set of gear and then to be able to purchase it. So once you've got the 98 PvP gear, again, you have to purchase the entire 98 PvP gear, 1 neck piece, 2 rings, the weapon. You have to purchase everything in order to be able to even see the 99 PvP gear. And then you have to do the same thing. You have to purchase the entire 99 PvP gear in order to be able to see the 100 PvP gear. And you have to purchase the entire 100 PvP gear in order to be able to purchase the 101 PvP gear. And the 101 PvP gear is the top PvP gear. There's no PvP gear after that. No, you have to play PvP. You have no choice. So in order to be able to purchase the PvP gear, it is sad, but you have to farm PvP. So you have to play Arena and you have to play Legends in order to get the Marks of Valor you need to be able to purchase the gear. So there's no escaping it. If you want to purchase the PvP gear, you have to play and play and play and play the PvP gear. And for the PvP, you can see it, like the PvP gear. Come on. So the PvP gear, you can see just the headpiece for the 100 PvP gear. It'll cost you 5,000 marks of valor. Let me repeat that in case it's not clear. It'll cost you 5,000 marks of valor just for the headpiece. And you can see the prices for everything. The mask, 1,000. The neck piece, 2,000. The shoulders, 4,000. So you can see the prices are pretty steep. Like if you compare with the 99 PvP gear, the 99 PvP gear prices weren't so bad. Like you can see the headpiece, 1,500. The mask, 500. But once they got to the 100 PvP gear, they went crazy, and they gave it crazy prices because they want you to farm and farm and farm before you can actually purchase the whole gear. It was their way to try to make PvP last a bit longer without them needing to add new gear to purchase. So just buying the 100 PvP gear, that alone will take you quite some time. Well, yeah, basically, in order to be able to get the 99 CR PvP, the 99 PvP CR, you have to purchase the entire 99 PvP gear, and then you will reach the 99 PvP CR, and then that will give you access to the 100 PvP gear. So once you purchase the complete 100 PvP gear, then you can purchase the 101 PvP gear. Oh yeah, that's exactly it. If you want to be able to raise your PvP combat rating, you need to purchase the whole set. So once you purchase the whole set, then your PvP combat rating will increase. But as I said, you have to really purchase everything. You have to purchase the whole set. You have to purchase the neck piece. You have to purchase the trinket. You have to purchase the weapon, and you have to purchase 2 rings. Ah, you look so sweet. Yeah, I've seen you before, I think. Yeah, your CR never drops, but your equipped CR will depend on what gear you're actually wearing. So once you reach combat rating 99, as you can see, your combat rating will always be 99. Sadly, you don't see my equipped combat rating because I don't have any PvP gear equipped. But let's say I would equip my entire PvP gear, then you would see my equipped combat rating would be 99 as well. If I was somehow to delete my entire PvP gear, I still would be PvP combat rating. That would not change. So if somehow by accident I was to delete my 99 PvP gear, I wouldn't repurchase the 99 PvP gear. I would just continue to purchase the 100 PvP gear. I hope this made some sort of sense. Oh, we lost our friend Friction. Oh, I'm so sad. So I hope this made some sense for you guys. So today will be a short one. I have a few things that I need to do. And also I promised a whole bunch of video to a whole bunch of people. Like I promised a gadget controller video. I should probably make that after. Some people want to see some Ultraman or Owlman videos. I'll see what I can do about that. And I'm sure there's something else I forget. So we're going to cut it short for today. But we'll be back tomorrow. If you guys have a whole bunch of questions, either ask them tomorrow or you can ask them a bit later. Basically, once I stop the stream, YouTube will process the video, and in a bit, YouTube will put the video available for you to watch again. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comment section of this video. In the comment section of this video, once the video is done processing, or you could ask your question in whatever video I have. Doesn't really matter, and or you could hold your questions for tomorrow. So that's going to be it for now, guys. So as always, thanks for watching, and hopefully I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.